Which VGK players stand to benefit the most from a second year under Bruce Cassidy? We have our thoughts on today's show coming up ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Make sure that you subscribe on the YouTube channel that is Locked On Golden Knights. You could find us on Twitter and everywhere in the universe and in the metaverse at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris.
The stratosphere. I mean, if we're going to do this, we can,
okay. We could just throw that all out there. So today, Chris, we want to examine what players could have sort of breakout seasons for VGK in the second season under Bruce Cassidy. And I guess that we have to look at some players that showed a little bit of improvement, slightly improved perhaps, in that first season under Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean, so what I went back and did was I wanted to see which players did well after our two coaching changes. Wanted to see what happened between when DeBoer took over for Gallant, and then kind of what happened, when Cassidy originally came in, just to kind of see which players have the most to grow. So really the second season for the Vegas Golden Knights and the fourth season for the Vegas Golden Knights, because that's when the players had their best taste of the current coach's system and just kind of evaluate players on a year-over-year basis from there.
Okay, I like that. I like that criteria. One player that I feel will benefit with a full season under Bruce Cassidy is Ivan the Great Barbashev. And I don't know if you agree or not, but I think he's a candidate for me because I was going through this last night. A player that was a trade deadline acquisition. He scored 18 points in 22 playoff games. He had 23 regular season games with the VGK, and he had 16 regular season points. In Barbashev, I think, is that prototypical Bruce Cassidy player. And by that, I mean he's a guy that just is a banger. He's a guy that fights for every loose puck. And most importantly, he is that player that they were missing before that will go in front of the net and play in the dirty areas. And so I think that Barbashev, with a full season, I personally believe that here's someone that can eclipse what he had a 60-point season a couple of seasons ago. And I think that was his career season, right? And I just think with a full season under Cassidy, I really think that he could prosper.
There's a lot of things happening with Barbashev, and the Golden Knights aren't paying someone $5 million per because they feel 60 points once is this person's ceiling. I think they feel listen, if Barbashev gets 50 points in, 3 of his next 4 seasons, that's just fine, right? Well, the Golden Knights would certainly take that type of output, and Barbashev is in a nice spot because he's going to slot in alongside of Marchessault and Jack Eichel, like you said, the missing link of that line. And I do agree, you have to think he is certainly one of Cassidy's, players. I mean, there were so many issues with people not shooting on the power play, going to the dirty areas, all the things we heard about in the press conferences for how long in that middle third of the season. Insert Barbashev, great things happen.
Paul Cotter, we talked about him earlier this week. He went from playing 7 games to 55 games. Cassidy likes his game, his overall game, and he's going to get the minutes, right, to contribute in the games this upcoming season?
I think so. He's young. Cotter doesn't need to be rushed. According to Cap Friendly, his salary is still listed in the green, so he technically is on the final part of his 2-way contract. There could be a little more to that, but I don't think the Golden Knights need to rush Paul Cotter. If Cotter, it depends on which way is Cotter going to go. Is he going to go the Barbashev route? Let's start right there. Is he going to become a player like Barbashev who is physical, can win those battles, can win those races, 2 things Cassidy preaches? Or is he going to go more of the skill routes on the scoring end of what Riley Smith used to have. Riley Smith quietly put up a lot of points in his career with the Vegas Golden Knights, but it was almost overshadowed at times because of how good of a job he did defensively and things like that. So will Cotter, follow a physical Barbashev type of situation, or is it going to be like Riley Smith? I don't know, but the good thing is Cotter has time and doesn't need to be rushed. And there's other players within the organization. There you go, Tony. Other players within the organization that can help pick up the pieces that Riley Smith left behind.
One of your favorite players up there in the 220s or wherever you're sitting these days, you got hit with a few pucks from Keegan Colasar off of his stick, way up there. Just kidding. JK. But Colasar closed out he showed me some different type of potential, I think, late in the season, and then also in the playoffs. He just played a different game. They need him to be that goon, if you will, at times. But I just think that he played much better, and again, better in front of the net. What are your thoughts on Colasar growing?
We dog him so much on this show. I actually used my hockey glass the other day for a little nice cool brewski late at night while I was doing some work and laughing about our episodes we did where a puck would go flying across the screen and stuff like that. But Colasar has a job with this team, and he is that new blend of enforcer, muscle, but can also score goals and do things besides hits. Obviously, Colasar can be credited for basically knocking Matt Tkachuk out of the Stanley Cup final. Even if Matt Tkachuk finishes the final, the Golden Knights are going to win that series, but still, it's a little bit easier when you can do it without Matt Tkachuk. And want to also make a note that was a clean hit. Obviously, no penalties, no suspensions given or anything like that. So he did it within
no
the
Fs
rules
given either.
Definitely not. Very, very none. Zero. So Colasar has a job, and you look at a player like Tom Wilson, and Tom Wilson is probably the highest end of. He's the best goon / scorer there probably is in the NHL right now. And you going back to Paul Cotter, I think that's almost the type of role that I think Paul Cotter might have to take on if he wishes to have, a solid and, lengthy NHL career where he can score, he can hit, and he can do everything else that's needed to protect the team. Colasar has the physical aspect down, and he'll chip in some goals. He'll be fine. But Cotter, I think, has a better scoring touch and can certainly develop that side of his game a little bit better.
And then Jack Eichel, of course. That's aces right there. Jackie Aces.
Flash. Was that a gang sign?
It was just an A, the big A. 95 to 100 points, I think, is his ceiling for this season. If he shoots the stinking puck, he just has to have. Is it a lack of confidence in his shot?
I don't think he needs to shoot. He only got 6 goals in the playoffs, and again, he led all playoff scoring. He doesn't need to shoot. He's got Marchessault and Barbashev to finish. The biggest thing, like when Paul Cotter was on that line, Jack Eichel needed to shoot, right? They couldn't get things done. When they were moving other players around, Jack Eichel needed to shoot. Now that he has Marchessault with that amazing finishing touch and Barbashev taking some of the attention away, Jack Eichel gets 60 assists. Why not? That's a pretty high number, but a 30-60 year for Jack Eichel. Obviously at least I'm the homer. You're not. But I don't think that's that outlandish. I got a few. If you got anything else,
done. That's it.
Yeah. So looking from season 2 to Carlson. 3, I'm not Carlson done on my list. Start with Shea Theodore, and obviously health is going to be a big thing for Shea Theodore. Well, let's look at some points though. So in season 2, Golden Knights, 79 games played, 37 points. Season 3, Golden Knights, and this is still Gallant because he was fired halfway through season 3. 71 games played, so a little bit of a regression there, but 46 points. So you saw a 15-18% shift. Is that, variance, or is that him learning the system? You can argue both ways of that. Nicholas Waugh, seasons 4 to 5. So you have to adjust because the season 4 was the COVID year, short, less games played and everything. His adjusted point total, if there would have been roughly an 82 game season, he would have had about 27 points in season 4. In season 5, 78 games played, became 39 points. So basically 27 adjusted points for the shortened season to 39 points. there's a lot of growth right there. And then Zach Whitecloud, some interesting growth here as well between seasons 4 and 5. Season 4, 51 games, 12 points. Okay, not a lot happening, right? Season 5 plays 59 games. So again, basically the same amount of games, and increases to 19 points. So, and there's other sides, obviously. There's the defensive side on, things you can't measure in his game, but you look at the point output and things like that. So, I mean, Shea Theodore, if he goes up just, I don't know, he had 41 points in 55 games played. Shea Theodore can put up 60 points if he has the same type of growth. Nicholas Waugh, looking at his totals from 22, 23, 30 points. I mean, that was a pretty quiet 30 points, wasn't it? I know he played all throughout the line and stuff like that. And if he's on line 4, he's not going to put up the points, but is 38 points out of the realm of possibility? Even if he's, I won't say buried on line 4, but if he spends most of the season on line 4, he can certainly hit that 38 to 40 point threshold. And then Zach Whitecloud, his growth, he only had 12 points in 59 games played. That adjusts to about 17, 18 points, kind of like last season. He can certainly get into the mid-20s possibly. So you look at that, and all of a sudden we've erased a good chunk of, possibly Riley Smith's scoring that the team lost.
Shea Theodore, BT dub. He did not break.
BT dub. What is BT dub?
By the way.
Oh, wow.
Shea Theodore, by the way, did not break Anthony Duclair's ankles. They were already broken. Okay. Just for the record, I want to be on the record. Wicked cool. The Stanley Cup spent the last couple of days on the Cape, and we're going to tell you all about that.
Wicked cool. I just caught that one. You're full of it this morning, Tony.
Right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Today's episode brought to you by a product that we use literally every day. That is AG1 by Athletic Greens. And maybe you're like us. You're always on the run. You want to eat healthy. You want to eat well. But it's always easier said than done. That's no longer the case with AG1. With one delicious scoop of AG1 in a glass of water each day, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, which will start your day off on the right foot. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system. It actually helps me to sleep a lot better, all of those things. And as we know, it can be very hard and expensive to keep track of the multiple different supplements and vitamins, not to mention how hard that could be on your stomach. And AG1 costs you less than $3 per day, so that is really good. And of course, it is much cheaper than your cold brew habit. Right now, time to reclaim your health and to arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and to pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure that you check out the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And of course, you could find us on Twitter. And our podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. And coming up, of course, on Fridays, WTF with the Friday. That'll be in our third segment coming up ahead. So Chris, we have been following the track of the Stanley Cup ourselves because there's
this
no
is like the Santa NORAD tracker, isn't it?
Sort of, yes, exactly. With sand rather than snow. So on Wednesday, the made man, George McPhee, who's made a lot of money because he's living out there on Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard, dude, you have to have some cabbage to live there. So he was there, and that was on Wednesday, where we couldn't connect. We couldn't connect the cup. We didn't know where it was at. This is like, where's Waldo, right, too? And then yesterday, the Stanley Cup was with Bruce Cassidy, as we've talked about earlier this week in Milton, Mass, as they launched Cassidy's new foundation, the Cassidy Murray Foundation. The hype woman. Oh, it's not WTF time yet. the stinking hype woman. You don't get enough loud noise, just garbage. Stand up, sit down here at home, right? You have to bring that back to mass with you. Come on, man.
Well, in that situation, I didn't think it was maybe like if it's a rally, like, okay, like Nick Waugh, for example. She would have been great for Nick Waugh's celebration, right?
Stand up, everyone.
This wasn't that situation. This was a very nice launch of a foundation, and I'll let you maybe set the table a little bit better there, but it just wasn't necessary. It was strange, and yeah, I don't know.
And they were playing the Bruins goal song when he came in.
Cassidy was asked about that. I think it was Steve Conroy on Twitter, and he basically said it wasn't my doing, or he just kind of shunned it pretty quickly.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, I did miss
that.
Yeah,
he shunned it off pretty quickly.
And then that was also pretty cool. Those photos on the beach, the glamour shots, if you will, taking photos there with the fam.
Yeah, they got the Christmas card.
Yeah, that's amazing. So those are some great photos. So that's where it was at. And then, of course, I think it's today, because they're right there, in that same area. I think it's Jack Eichel's day today, I would have to guess. And he is odds-on favorite, according to FanDuel, to be the first player to take his shirt off. So I don't remember this when I was around the Cup, right? Back in 2003-ish, whenever that was. But I don't remember them saying, is it only the player or the coach or the person that has the cup that day is allowed to lift the Stanley Cup? I saw so many shenanigans around the cup that
they have to hand it. Maybe that's the unwritten rule. They have to hand it to you. You can't just go to the table and pick it up. I don't know. I
just remember no swearing around the cup. And man,
that rule got broken pretty quick.
And no nudity.
Supposedly, I heard
shots of Fireball are okay.
Gosh, what was it? There was a story.
And swamp juice. What were they drinking out of there? Not swamp juice. Whatever they were.
Listen, at 0.999% fine silver or whatever, it's a bacteria shield, so it's fine.
No, it's not.
I heard one story. It was on the radio, I think, a long time ago. I think it was back when one of Montreal's Cups. I forgot who the player was, so I don't want to necessarily say it, but a player, after they won the Stanley Cup, they had a little party, maybe like a little one-night stand type of thing. Dude shows up, I guess, next day, and like, where's the cup? And like, left it at the girl's house that he had the thing with, and forgot who the girl was, in one of those situations. But yeah.
It's a good thing that there was no social media back in like 2003.
Oh, I haven't been around.
I'm seeing all these lovely photos on the beach and stuff.
I'll give action. That cup has seen plenty of things it's not supposed to have seen.
Absolutely.
In places it's not supposed to have been.
If that cup could talk.
Exactly. That'd be a great book. I'm sure the book probably has already been written. I heard, just while we're kind of shooting at the hip here, I heard a funny story when I was waiting for my turn on the NHL Network yesterday.
Okay.
We'll get that in a second, Mike. But guy wrote, I forgot what the book was, and I'm so bad at citing this whole thing, but they do like the shoot the puck thing at intermission, where they got to get the puck through some ridiculous tiny hole to get, usually like a big prize, like a car or something like that. There was a player, I believe, on the New York Islanders that saw that thing in the back of house one day before a game, in the early afternoon or something like that. Dude took a saw and actually opened up the hole, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 inches. No one was none the wiser, and they wound up giving away like 2 cars that night or something like that. So I thought that was a pretty funny story that I heard while I was waiting. But yeah, no, the NHL Network was fun yesterday. It was, you're kind of waiting. Okay, is the phone going to ring? I was listening, like the segment was a little bit late because they were talking about a couple other things, and they actually teed me up pretty well because they started the show. Jonathan Davis was talking about poker and Molly's Game, the movie, and then there was a book about that. So obviously poker right up my alley. And then the segment before me was about sports cards. So that was kind of cool. So I was pretty comfortable before I even started talking, but it was a good time. It was fun. It went by quick, and but I enjoyed every second of it.
Cool. And I'm sure that's not your last appearance on there.
No. So the funny thing is, after it's over, like, I stayed on the phone. I wasn't sure what was going to happen afterwards. And like, their mic was still on as they rolled the commercial for a second before the gentleman who called me, said, okay, it's good job, whatever. And I heard Mick Kern say, okay, that was good. We're going to get him back on again. So I was like the Johnny Carson when you do your stand-up comedy routine. He invites you to the table afterwards if he likes you. I think I got invited back to the table. So
it's like TMZ, dude. It's like
exactly.
TMZ.
But huge thank you to Mick Kern. He was awesome. He did make sure to mention Vegas Hockey Now and Locked On. Of course, Tony got a shout out about our shenanigans on the show and stuff.
So and you talked about the season being rigged, right?
I didn't say a word about the season being rigged. Didn't say a word about the season being rigged.
Shut up, Tony. Oh my goodness. Now there's going to be
it took you till segment 2 to see that, huh? So while we finally see the cup here, I think we're going to do a new segment next week, right?
We are?
I think we're going to do that. I'll put it out there, guys. Okay, so Shut Up Tony is trending right now, right, amongst our little airwaves and stuff. So Tony is going to give me a take. We'll do this sometime next week. I don't know when, but Tony's going to give me a take.
I don't have any bad takes.
No, you're going to give me a take, and then I'm either going to say, okay, Tony, or shut up, Tony. Those are the only 2 responses I can give. I think that'll be a really fun take, or really fun segment that we might make the weekly cuts. We'll see. We'll see how the first one goes.
Speaking of cups, back to the Stanley Cup. Next week, Kelly McCrimmon has the Stanley Cup. It's going, guess where? It's going to Brandon, home of the Wheat Kings. Jeez, we're off the rails already.
Let's go.
It's going to Friday. Brandon, July 21st. And then on the 23rd, okay, so I think everything will probably be settled by then because Brett Howden will have the cup. And here's a guy.
What's the date? 10 days.
That's going to be the 23rd. And they're going to have a parade in Manitoba as well. There's another parade.
Is it going to have like a ceremonial contract signing too?
I think something's got to give there by the 23rd.
They're going to get a deal made, whether it's 1.5 or 1.875. The deal is going to get made. It's not going to be. I only think it'll go to arbitration, to be honest.
Okay, so we evidently began our WTF What the Friday segment early.
That happens.
But we'll officially get to WTF coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Of course, find us on the YouTube channel and subscribe. WTF.
You like my cup, don't you? You like my cup.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing here. So the funny thing about this cup here.
Shut up, Tony.
That's what it really says. My wife's
crazy cup. Cat lady. Yeah, cover crazy cat lady.
One time I think I used this. I wrote dude. I like put a cover, put dude on. Oh, I don't care. Whatever. Go Panthers. There you go.
Right. So I went to the premiere last night of Goliath there at the Aria Hotel Casino.
I'll give you something there, but keep going.
Right. So Goliath is about Will Chamberlain, premieres tonight on Showtime, but we saw the second episode. So there's 3, it's a 3-part documentary. And WTF, they asked Wilt about sleeping with all those women. And he said, I am a bigger guy, so I've got more oats to sow. WTF. What they did, though, is it AI? What is it called? Or is it augmented reality? Whatever. But they got his voice matched up. And so you hear his voice during the course of the documentary, which is kind of creepy, but kind of cool the entire way. So that's my beginning. That's my start for WTF.
I hear Goliath. That gets my attention because I created a tournament series called Famous Poker Series Goliath. And oddly enough, after that, I saw the Billy Bob Thornton show on Amazon called Goliath, which is pretty cool. So I hear Goliath, I perk up. So yeah.
Okay. So speaking of oats to sow, where are we go? Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay. Gary Bubbles. His name omitted from the Stanley Cup, the VGK team president. I am hearing from sources, I'm hearing that Bubbles says that they needed room for players and for staff that worked with the team every day. So that is why he bowed out. BS. He's humble. He's a corporate yes man. I'm beating the drum for Gary Bubbles. I'm not cool with this at all, as you know. I've said this. He says perhaps that this is his decision if he's speaking to groups of people and what have you. But off the record, man, I just think it burns him. I'm sorry. And I just hope that he gets a really nice pay raise. WTF.
Oh, what are my notes here? Okay.
He doesn't know
All
how to
right.
rebound after that.
No,
Wow,
no.
speechless
I'm
caller.
just moving forward. That's all. I'm moving forward. He's a great leader. He's a great leader. All right. So speaking of names and butchering, I still got the yips, everybody. I'm Chuck Knobloch for the Yankees. I cannot make the throw to first right now. I did fumble on the show. I was asked my feelings on NHL Network, my feelings about Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill, who was going to be starting.
You still did
Oh,
it?
I got the Chuck Knobloch yips. I'm going to write it down on I'm going to tattoo it somewhere. I think I'd say I tattooed on my thigh, but that's kind of creepy. But Aiden Thompson and Logan Hill, they're going to be great next year. They're going to be awesome. No. It's going to be great. Oh, it was funny. I don't care. We got a good laugh about it. And, it's all good. Trust me, I can care less. It's fun. It's goofy, whatever. So I still got the yips. We're going to work on that, folks. It's the off season. We got something like I tweeted during the third period of the Golden Knights clinching Stanley Cup game when they were up 9-2 and it became 9-3 or 7-3, whatever. So they got some things to work on this offseason. I got some things to work on this offseason. So Aiden Thompson and Logan Hill, I'll get this worked out eventually. No. And then so WTF Golic, but another WTF here. So I did have an article come out with Vegas Hockey Now, and I actually got a fun one coming out by the time this airs today. Foul Mood Friday. 3 reasons why the Golden Knights might not have a good season next year. So right up your alley, Tony. You'll love that article. But before I did write in,
I hope there's enough Cardasco negativity.
You're wearing on me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So I did write an article about expiring contracts and what my projection is for the following season. So like Marchessault, Chandler Stevenson, Martinez, players like that.
Let Marchessault walk.
I didn't say let Marchessault walk. You
just said just pay him less than that number 71.
I didn't say pay him less than 71. I didn't say that. He should get paid less than 71, but 71 shouldn't get paid what he gets paid. That's why I say it like that. That's why I say it like that.
Perfect.
If Marchessault is expecting, $6.5 million as a 34-year-old when his contract, expires, 33-year-old, that's probably
give him $7 million.
They might. The point is, though, I did mention maybe if the next season doesn't go well, just maybe the Golden Knights do kick the tires on trading Marchessault. It can happen, folks. And I know everyone's attached to the players like we were with Marc-Andre Fleury and everything else, but these players are all not going to retire Golden Knights. Possibly Marchessault, possibly Aiden Hill, possibly Logan Thompson. All these players that the fans have grown to love accept their reality and enjoy everything for what it is, and they may not be here next year. Don't assume that everyone's going to ride off into the sunset as a Golden Knight. You look at the changes that got made from this team from season 1, a team that got within 3 wins of winning the friggin' Stanley Cup. And Kelly McCrimmon didn't like the composition of that team, as did George McPhee. So just, understand when your beloved players do walk, and it can happen. And if Bruce Cassidy gets fired 2.5 years from now, it's part of the game. Part of the game. It happens. It's okay. So WTF. There you go. That was long, but go ahead.
Okay. On the heels of all that, our good friend Tommy Vegas at Darth Tommy 774 with an interesting take. WTF, are we planning on retiring the cup winning original Misfits jersey numbers? Number 19 should be done this year, in my opinion, followed by number 81, 71, 3, maybe 28.
No.
When they get traded or hang up their skates, no one should wear those numbers ever again.
Stop it.
In all due respect.
Come on, Tommy.
In all due respect, you're matching them up here with a photo of the Islanders that won 4 straight Stanley Cups with Potvin and Gillies and Trottier and Bossy and Nystrom and Smith. WTF. I think eventually, maybe if they win a second cup, I don't know what their criteria is, because they didn't have any cup criteria because they left Kerry Bubbles' name off of the cup, for crying out loud.
Paul got on the cup. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, he worked with the team every day. Played 10 games. Yeah, okay. And he played 1 playoff game against the Peg. In any event, I think eventually, if they continue on this path to greatness or whatever, I think an original Misfits banner could hang. I do. I don't think it's going to be individual honors for these players, because there's no one that's super special, but out of all of them, most deserving would be Jonathan Marchessault, who just scores consistently, continues to play better, improve. And, to me, that's my WTF.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, shooting the breeze about Marchessault here. Could his number of the Misfits be retired? I mean, I don't know. The way Foley loves Carlson, it could be Carlson before Marchessault to get you
Gonna
going a
need
little bit here.
another 3 seasons of BLTs, man, to get
I mean,
up there.
at $6 million a season, he might get it too. But I mean, Marchessault, if he does retire a Golden Knight, I think it's a borderline lock. He does get his number retired, to be completely honest with you. He's the lead candidate, if we're going to just talk about this for a second. I mean, of all the current Golden Knights right now, or past Golden Knights, what's the first number that should be considered getting retired? And don't say number 29, Marc-Andre Fleury. That ship has sailed. It's not Robin Leonard. It's not Shipachev, season 1 phenom. It's yeah.
Okay. WTF. I am starting to think, after further research, that Dominic Ducharme could be good for this team after all. Again, but why do we have 3 head coaches on the bench, which is really crazy, right? They do have the depth. So with that coaching experience, my guess is Ducharme. Now, just stay with me for a moment. I know you kind of go off and wander.
No, I got something else after this.
My guess is Ducharme is coming to Vegas as the power play expert. So perhaps there's some movement for John Stevens if they weren't satisfied with the way the power play executed this past season. So Stevens had those duties, right? And so maybe he's leaving. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling about that. But Ducharme, through some very deep late night thought and research, with the QMJ.
Explains why you slept in.
Yeah, QMJHL had the number 1 power play unit at that level, as they connected on 28% of the man advantage. So WTF, this could be a pretty big move for VGK moving forward.
So the former, who was via Twitter, we learned at 8:42 on a Sunday night, Misha Donskov, was wished good luck in his future endeavors, which whenever you say that, that's code for, I've sent those memos out. We wish blah, blah, blah in their future endeavors. That means they're not happy. They're whatever. I mean, we're speculating. That's what we do here, right? So when you go on the Golden Knights website, their front office under hockey operations, Tom Paraska is now listed as the director of hockey operations, which is Donskov's old position. I don't remember much fanfare. I don't remember, a release about that coming in or anything like that. Maybe I missed something. So
no release.
Why is this situation so
interesting?
Quiet? I just don't.
I want to see where Donskov lands. I'm really curious. I keep looking every day to try to see if there's anything new on that.
The fact that something hasn't been announced this quickly, maybe he just maybe both sides. Let's be somewhat down the middle here.
Mutually agree.
Maybe both sides just weren't happy, right? And why weren't they happy? That's obviously the burning question here. And maybe one of these days Donskov will tell. He's not going to say anything now, especially if he's in consideration for employment somewhere. But it's a mystery. It's a mystery, and it's a bigger mystery why they didn't give any fanfare to I gotta look at the name again, Tom Paraska, in his new endeavor with the Golden Knights.
Ooh, interesting. Well, we'll never hear his voice, so we don't even know. So when
Donskov never talked either.
No, of course not. So they're going to do that Will Chamberlain thing with where they recreate his voice, like later on when they go back historically. And okay, WTF is up with all the Habs fans chirping on the Golden Knights Ducharme announcement. They know he's just an assistant coach, right? LOL. That's from our good friend Brandon Frame.
What was that supposed to mean? Like, is that a shot at Golden Knight fans? What does that mean? I don't understand.
No, I guess that the Canadian fans were chirping at VGK for signing him as a coach, but he's an assistant coach, and I just gave you WTF.
Can we chant "You're a backup" to him?
Perhaps. At Sisyphor, WTF was the
my
Boston
buddy.
goal song being played while Cassidy held the cup. Oof.
I think that's a poor take. Not Sisyphor's take, but people making that to be more than it is. I think you just had an event going. That's something that Cassidy's tied to with Boston. I think that's a non-starter.
No, someone did that.
That's
dude.
a non-starter. Non-starter for me.
Someone definitely set that up, and
Non-starter.
Well, it just was as awkward as having the bust of Cassidy on giveaway night. He just felt awkward. There's no doubt walking.
I think it was kind of awkward him holding the cup over his head walking up the steps. I think that was maybe the part like, okay, here it is, guys. You know, I think that was a little bit, but I think that was even more awkward than the song, to be completely honest with you. I don't know.
Why?
That's just me.
Why? He had a difficult time getting that cup up there, though.
I mean,
he had to
sure.
do like the clean and jerk moves, like to get it over.
A couple shots. I don't know.
They better have the back brace on, for him next time, if there is a next time. WTF?
You were almost optimistic. You were almost optimistic for a second there, guys. Okay. Write that down. Okay, keep
nearly going. Optimistic. Oh, hey, what's up with this? Shout out to me. You chirping with the number 71?
Oh, I wasn't chirping. That was my buddy Ray sent that to me. Sin City Sports. Bigger WTF. Christopher's birthday, my son. I waited 38 minutes into the show. He'll be 9 years old tomorrow, Saturday. Wow. Obviously, we're not recording. That's crazy. So happy birthday, Chris. There you go.
No more predictions.
Where are you, Chris? Oh, he's right here. Come on in, buddy. Hurry up. We got 2 minutes. Come on, birthday boy. Get in here.
Do we have to sing to him now?
No, we're not singing. Stop it. This little dude's going to be 9 years old.
He's not little anymore.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, but you've already been celebrating with dinner last night. You were up early this morning. We're going, last night was a home dinner. He wanted meatloaf, so Amanda cooked him a real nice dinner. Nice. And then tonight we're doing a Texas Roadhouse for dinner.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Tomorrow.
He's a foodie.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow, whatever he wants for breakfast, I'm probably going to go get, whether it's Pink Box Donuts or Burger King French Toast Sticks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever he wants.
What's he want? Is he
French Toast Sticks?
French Toast Sticks? Burger King?
I'll decide tomorrow.
We'll decide tomorrow. Really fast, guys.
Decision. Game time decision.
Order your French Toast Sticks by the 3s, not the 5s, because you get a better deal like that. And then we got a little pool party tomorrow night at the rec center. So we'll have a good time.
How awesome. Happy birthday, little Chris.
Birthday. Smile nicely. He
no
bows.
More predictions.
He bows.
Yes, that's simple.
There goes your replacement, Tony, next year.
I know, next year. At DJ Mikey Dubs, WTF trouble WTF trouble Robin Leonard wrapped himself up in ? Is there anything new?
No, just wish Robin well, guys. I mean, we gotta leave that alone. Just wish Robin Leonard well. It sucks. Right. It sucks. We gotta leave him alone.
Wish our guy Chris well as well for the big birthday weekend. That's
and Daddy for getting through the week. I've been up since like 4:45 today.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching us on the YouTube channel. Subscribe at Locked On Golden Knights. From a man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again Monday. We go to 3 days next week. Yes. We'll see you Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights.